I don't know when we're finally going to realize that more and more men are single because they want to be single. Because they've built up their lives. They like their day-to-day routine. They buy what they want and can afford. They spend time on whatever hobby they enjoy. But what they don't want is making the mistake of sacrificing those things for something less than what they already have. And I get it. We've heard that women are raising their standards. But ladies, men are too.
Why are hardworking men still choosing to be single? Is the question floating around like it's some unsolved mystery, as if men just randomly woke up and decided peace, quiet, and personal freedom beat endless negotiations disguised as romance? For years, the message was clear. Work harder, earn more, be emotionally available, be traditional when convenient and modern when required, and maybe, just maybe, you'll qualify for a relationship that feels like a performance review.
All women say they want a good man until they actually meet one and realize they're not equipped to handle him. A good man is not convenient. He doesn't bend to accommodate chaos. He doesn't rearrange his values because you're emotional.
A real good man has discipline, boundaries, and priorities that don't shift based on your mood.
And this is where women get confused. When you've never met emotional maturity, you misread everything.
You call him cold because he won't tolerate drama. You call him selfish because he protects his peace.
You label him detached because he refuses to beg for your approval. But that's not coldness. That is self-respect. A man who knows his worth doesn't move from insecurity. He moves from conviction. Good men don't chase drama. They don't chase chaos. And they sure as hell don't chase women who weaponize emotion. They build, they lead, they create order. Most women aren't ready for the responsibility that comes with a stable man, because stability doesn't feed your need for emotional roller coasters. It doesn't scratch that itch for unpredictable validation. For women raised in dysfunction, peace feels boring until you lose it. A good man requires partnership, respect,
And a woman who's emotionally regulated, not reactive, not reckless.
stay solid. Good men don't bend, they build. And the right woman rises to meet him.
So men did exactly what they were told. They grinded, built careers, hit the gym, learned emotional intelligence, got their finances straight. And then, plot twist, they realized they didn't actually need the chaos that came packaged with modern dating. Suddenly, being single wasn't a failure, it was a luxury upgrade. No drama subscriptions, no loyalty tests, no weekly debates about whether breathing wrong is a red flag.
Why do men want to be single?
You see, compared to the women, where it's a result of the pressure of the society, it's the contrary for the men. It's the fear of certain criteria who's been asking to them to be in a relationship now. And then you start to install fear in certain men, because a lot of those young men as well, or even after 30s as well, we are lost as well in this life, you know, in terms of our emotion. There is also the trend of how you should be a businessman. If you don't have your business at 25, or you don't make $1 million, you are nothing. You know what I mean? So we have all those things again in this society who make us fragile.
And now there's confusion. But he's successful. Why doesn't he want a relationship? Because success gave him options. And with options comes comparison. If the modern dating experience feels like constant criticism, unrealistic expectations, and conditional appreciation, why would a man voluntarily trade peace for pressure? Hardworking men aren't running from commitment, they're running from bad deals dressed up as emotional growth opportunities.
Women are just too high drama. And this is the reason why so many men are checking out of relationships today. I felt called to make a second video because the video that I created around why men are checking out from dating got a lot of attention and got a lot of comments from you. I read through all of them and I realized that there was one key point that I missed, and that is that women are too high drama and that men are choosing to go with peace over having a relationship. And it might be surprising to a lot of women, but most men actually want a relationship. They want to find a loving partner. There is so many men on dating apps that are looking for a partner, but have just chosen to opt out of dating and relationships altogether because women are so high drama. These men have oftentimes experienced that a relationship with a woman is actually breaking their peace, and men want peace in their lives. Why do men want peace in their lives? Because men already have enough stuff to deal with in their work life. And we women might not realize that. So a lot of women expect when their partner comes home from work that they can just dump their day and dump their emotions on their man, expecting the man to deal with it. And if he doesn't, oh my God, you got something coming for him. Women need to realize that they need to learn to deal with their issues on their own. Your partner is not your dumping ground for your emotions. Of course, you will find challenges in your relationships, but you have to talk through them. You have to communicate through them with love and respect. Always think the best of your partner. Don't see them as the enemy, and don't see them as your therapist. It is so important that you learn to deal with your issues on your own. You need to work through your emotions. Go into therapy if it's something serious, but don't expect your partner to solve all of your issues, and that your partner will be open to receive all of your stress and all of your anxiety at the end of the day. And honestly, I also think this is a result of women focusing way too much on their partner instead of having a life outside of the relationship and outside of their partner. Many women, when they get into a relationship, they let go of friends, they let go of hobbies. So when their man comes home, he is the sole focus of them. This man has to be their everything, their friend, their therapist, their partner, their hero. That is a lot of pressure to put on one person. So this is why it's so high drama for men, and men feel the stress from you. And this is the reason why men just decided to opt out of relationships altogether, because they have experienced this time and time again with women that is just too much drama. And this is not what men want in their lives. Men want peace. Men want a tranquil, loving relationship with a supporting partner where they come home to a peaceful environment and not a war zone. And in general, I just think that women need to learn to deal with their anxieties, to deal with their stress on their own, because a lot of women, like I said, put that on their partner, put the responsibility on their partner, and they bottle it up all day through. And then when the partner comes home, he has just a rage of emotions and things that he needs to deal with, and an unhappy wife that has just been bubbling and boiling all day. So he comes home to this explosive energy of emotions. And this is what men don't want. I've read of guys in the comment section that a lot of men stay in the car before they walk through the door because they need to center themselves of what they're gonna walk into. And this is not right. You should be happy to come home to your partner. And it should be loving and calm and peaceful. And to be fair, women start doing this early on in dating as well. They fully focus on the guy that they're dating and expecting this man to be their savior and their everything, fully letting go of their own lives. And this puts a lot of pressure on men. So men feel this from the first couple of dates, that you're a woman who's looking for him to solve all of your issues. And this is why a lot of men just move away from dating altogether, because women just cling so much to men and they have such high expectations of this man to solve everything in their lives. And this is why they become high drama, because a man can never live up to all of your expectations. And if you put all of that on your man, it's just stressful for him and it's not fair. And you need to understand that you need to start taking the responsibility for your own healing and for your own emotions. So if you feel anxious, if you're stressed out, if there's things that you need to deal with that you think you need to put on your partner, please find therapy, find help, find someone to talk to, not your partner. Make an effort to heal yourself and heal through your traumas and pains and worries without dumping that on your partner. And I used to be anxious as well. And what really helped me was meditation. I meditate 20 minutes a day now. You don't have to do it for that long. Even 5 minutes of meditation already helps to just calm down and really center yourself. Maybe do it before your partner comes home and really see what your emotions are and what things are that you really need to talk about together, because it affects the relationship. And on top of that, journaling is very good. If you have a lot of thoughts and anxious thoughts and ruminations, journal about it. Get it out of your system and don't dump it on your partner via text or even when they come home from work. Work through it. This is your responsibility. And if you do that, more and more you'll start to filter the fluff and the anxious thoughts from things that you really need to share with your partner. Please understand that men are now opting out of relationships because women are too high drama. You expect too much from your man.
Meanwhile, the narrative tries to spin it as fear. He's intimidated, he's avoidant, he can't handle strong women. Nah, a lot of guys just did the math. They watched friends lose time, money, and mental health in messy situationships and realized solitude sometimes offers more stability than partnership in a culture where loyalty feels temporary and effort feels unreciprocated.
I love the women who complain that they can't find a man. Ugh, why am I single? Ugh, I can't find a good guy anywhere. I'll tell you why. You stay at home all day. You sit in bed all night and scroll on TikTok and Instagram Reels. Your Instagram is private. You never answer any text messages. And whenever somebody looks at you in the street, you look at them like this. Ugh. That's why you cannot find a man.
Most of my guy friends are single right now, and this is why. Talking about my friends, they're hustlers. And so in their mind, they're thinking not only would a girl be kind of a distraction right now, but the girl that they could get right now is nowhere near as good as the one that they could get in 5 years when they're richer, when they're more successful, when they're more established.
First of all, it's really easy to say that you don't want a relationship when a woman doesn't want a relationship with you. Women have collectively decided to raise their standards, and the truth is a lot of men these days don't meet those standards. A man being able to only pay the light bill is not going to cut it. Women want financial stability. This isn't new. Y'all try to act like it's new, but it's not. Back in the days when women didn't have bank accounts, didn't have jobs, they did select partners who could financially provide for them and their future children. Stop acting like women these days are so new and what's wrong with them and this is so revolutionary and these are modern women. Women have always expected a man to provide. You're modern because you expect a woman to split bills with you, and no woman in history has ever been asked that. And then with this bootleg vague threat like, you guys are going to want us in 5 to 10 years. We're going to be the ones with the money and you're going to wish you hadn't hated on us when we were in our 20s. You're getting princess treatment, you're getting flown out, you're getting spoiled by these men who have money right now, and when we get the money, we're not going to want you. Those women don't care. The reason why there's so many single men out there is because we are asking you to be better, and some of these men are refusing to. You're digging in your heels, you're being stubborn, and you're going to stay single until you change. Women are evolving. Evolve with us or get left.
Another thing nobody wants to admit, hardworking men watch the relationship game turn into a never-ending upgrade cycle. First it was, get a job. Then, get a better job. Then earn more. Then be emotionally available but not too sensitive. Be masculine but also soft. Lead but don't lead too much. Provide but don't expect appreciation. At some point guys looked around like, is this a relationship or a subscription service with hidden fees?
So all the men from my previous post saying that they have found peace by being alone and they're not trying to date because they just want peace. Are you trying to say that we don't bring peace to your life?
Oh, they didn't try to say anything. They flat out said that they'd rather be by themselves and peaceful than to be with some of the women that are available out there.
I have to disagree.
Of course there would be some women that have to disagree with that statement because they simply cannot bring themselves to believe that many men, especially after seeing what's out there in the dating market, would rather be single, and they're actually happier being so.
I do not think that if a woman that you so desired was available to you, you would choose peace over commitment, sex, good meals with conversation, and things like that. So I'm going to call your bluff.
Some women simply don't get it. Because none of those things that were listed are actually what brings a man peace in a relationship. And if we're being really honest with ourselves, most men can get all of those perks of being in a relationship without actually being in one. So quite frankly, ladies, some of you are going to have to start accepting that men can be happy by themselves. I know that comes as a surprise.
And the funniest part? The same hardworking men who were once ignored while they were building themselves are now getting attention, but instead of feeling grateful, they feel cautious. They've seen how fast admiration can turn into expectations. They've learned that being valued for what you provide isn't the same as being appreciated for who you are.
Why are there so many single women out here that are struggling to find a man? Well, I'm gonna tell you the reason, but you're not gonna like the answer. Now, this may not apply to you, so don't take offense. But if you do, maybe you need to reflect why it makes you offended. Honestly, a lot of women treat men like trash. A lot of women take men for granted. A lot of women want men to take accountability for their actions and what they do. But boy, if you ask a woman to take accountability for her faults and her actions, it's straight to signing divorce papers. But my question is, why are women so resistant to taking accountability? Like really, what is the reason why you won't take accountability for your actions? I know for me personally, because I was this woman for many, many years, like most of my marriage, I realized this because I thought I had to be perfect and that society judged me based on my level of perfection. And if I dared to take accountability for my faults and actions, then I would be even more demonized. But the reality is, me not taking accountability was making it worse. And I don't think a lot of women understand the fact that we are a lot of the problem. I'm not saying we're the whole problem, but at least on my platform, on this side of things, a lot of men are trying. They're putting in the effort. They're doing the things that they need to do. And women are taking their husbands for granted. They got married because they wanted to be married, not because they wanted to be a wife. So you single ladies struggling to find a man, most men are not even wanting to get married anymore because they've dealt with bad relationship after bad relationship of women taking them for granted and treating them like trash. And honestly, I can't blame them. If you put all the effort in for a year, didn't get anything back, you wouldn't tolerate that either. So why are we expecting men to just sit down, shut up, and take it? You would advise every one of your girlfriends, girl, don't take that from him. But why should he take that from you? And honestly, I truly believe that lack of accountability is one of the #1 reasons why marriages are failing. We refuse to take ownership of the things that we need to take ownership for. But I can promise you, if you take accountability for your actions and work really hard to fix them, your marriage can look completely different. Because y'all, that's where I'm sitting right now. The problem is you just gotta swallow your pride, do what it takes to make a change.
So the confusion isn't really confusion. It's shock that men improve their lives and realize they don't have to trade peace for a relationship that feels like a second full-time job.
I really hate to give this topic attention because I feel like what you give attention to grows, but the red pill narrative needs to be exposed. Last week, someone from the red pill community stitched one of my videos carrying on about why women are single, how we have unrealistic standards, how we will only go for men who are in the top 1% of earners, who are, millionaires, just all of these ridiculous claims that are not true to reality. He was hiding behind a mask. He was carrying on about me being single and how I would never give someone like him a chance to go on a date. I ended up reaching out to him because I was so curious how someone could become like this. How do you get to this point where you honestly believe this polarizing narrative online? He proceeded to tell me it was just rage bait. He started to harass me to go on a date with him. And when I said no, that I wasn't interested because our values don't align, that I would never date someone who speaks so poorly about women, he would not stop. And this is exactly what the red pill community does to men. It makes them believe that they are entitled to women's attention. So this is what he started to say after I told him, no, I am not interested in going on a date with you. And his narrative completely switched back and forth. First, it was all of my videos are rage bait, to this, I can't stand all of you Western women. I offered you my love. I do not know this person. This is a stranger on the internet. So the reason I bring this up is because the red pill narrative, it is keeping men single. Men have lost the ability to have confidence in themselves, to approach women, to actually align with values that are respectable, to accept no for an answer and just move forward. Rejection is a part of life. You are not always going to get exactly what you want. And when someone tells you no, just move forward. There are plenty of fish in the sea. There is such a lack of self-control from men that when women say no to them for a date, for attention, they take it so personal that they start hating all women. And just to clarify, I understand that there is a polarizing narrative that sits on the other side of women against men, which I understand. But I'm talking about the perspective of the red pill community. This is what it does to men. It keeps them lonely. It makes them hate women. It makes them hate people. And it just does nothing to improve their lives. They are being sold a false claim that is doing nothing for them. Most of these men in the red pill community are so lonely and filled with bitterness and hate. They don't want to be lonely. They don't want to be single. They want to be in a loving relationship, but they have dug themselves so deep into the red pill narrative that they have made themselves unattractive to women. Real relationships in real life are not built on this false narrative of men needing to be in the top 1% of earners. And honestly, I had never even heard of red pill until I joined the internet or joined TikTok. So sorry for this long rant, but I feel like it's really important for men and women to understand how damaging this community is.
So now they're single by choice, not because they can't attract anyone, but because they finally learned that peace is a flex too.
Men stopped playing by the rules, and now everyone's freaking out. Let's break down why silence has become the loudest move.